Should we take them back to the night you asked me to be your girlfriend?
Oh, to that lovely night? Yeah?
Okay.
Oh, please.
Okay.
We're going to go through a few reasons why there are some red flags in this relationship, but one that I just want to point out is that I really don't think that this guy is straight. What's up, guys? It's JQ, back with another video diving deep into female psychology. Guys, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so today we are taking a look at Danielle Walter. I actually came across her profile a few weeks ago and I had this instinct to make basically a version of today's video, but I didn't, and now seems the right time given some recent updates. So first of all, this girl is huge on Instagram with more than 1 million followers. She's a big deal. And she dubs herself as the Brunette Carrie Bradshaw of San Francisco. My understanding is that's because she's been kind of single and fabulous in San Francisco for some time. She's 32, 33 years old, and her content has been largely focused on her going on lots and lots and lots of dates over the past couple of years and kind of talking about it, getting ready, makeup tips, etc. Another big part of why she has grown to the level she did was the advice that she gave to younger women. And basically she advised 20-something-year-old women to take their time with dating, to really take time to get to know the guy, don't move too fast, don't get swept away. And this is sound advice. This is good advice to women to take their, and all people really, to take their time getting to know someone that they're dating, to make sure that they're really who they think they are. Because at the beginning, it's easy to be swept up in your own emotions, and people can also obscure who they really are because you don't have full visibility and you're not around them enough to really know. They can put on an act. So a few months ago, when Danielle is now dating someone and in a relationship, and this has caused some disconnect between her and her fans, and I'm going to explain why. The first video I came across of hers I will be showing here, and it's basically a video where she announces and kind of introduces her new boyfriend, and immediately like my spidey senses went off, and I'll get into that more in a second. But this has been causing some tension within her fan base, but it's going to illustrate a number of psychology principles both for men and women. So for starters, we're taking a look at her page, and you can see that a lot of this content was based around going out, getting ready, especially before meeting the boyfriend. Okay, cleaning your house, doing her hair, going to events, going on dates. At some point, she starts talking about the dates that she's going on with the guy that becomes her boyfriend. Now, this isn't any different than what she was doing up until this point. However, she has a little bit of a different take on it than she had for previous guys. So let's take a look at a video she made while on the first date with the guy who is now her boyfriend.
I'm in the bathroom of the coffee shop. This might be my husband. He is so kind. He is a true man of God, at least from what I can tell. He's just, I really like him.
Okay, so well, for starters, her choice of outfit is strange to me. She's just wearing a t-shirt and a beige sweater and some jeans, and this is a super casual outfit. It's not the cutest outfit for going out and meeting somebody on a date, but set that aside. It's what she says, right? Anybody that's her friend or family or even her fans, I think would be rightly a bit thrown off and concerned for her to say, this might be my future husband after just sitting with him in a coffee shop for like half an hour. That would say to a lot of people, how can you know that or feel that way so soon into meeting somebody? And the answer is usually you can't. And if you are feeling some kind of way, it could be because the other person is really like love bombing you or throwing down a lot of, kind of superlative comments. And we know that that can be dangerous for both men and women to get swept up in, because if it's not authentic, which how could it be when you're just meeting somebody from the first time, then that could create problems down the line. So as this progressed, right, she let some time go by. Okay, that was probably a good idea, but I think this is about 3 months into knowing him, she makes this video kind of revealing him for the first time.
Here we go. Honey?
Hi, babe.
Should we take them back to the night you asked me to be your girlfriend?
Go to that lovely night? Yeah?
Okay.
Oh, please.
Okay. To set.
Okay, so we're going to go through a few reasons why there are some red flags in this relationship, but one that I just want to point out is that I really don't think that this guy is straight. You know, I'm very good at kind of just detecting people's body language and their internal energy. At the very least, this guy has a lot of feminine energy based on the way he's sitting, based on the way he styled himself, based on the way he talks, kind of in a lighter voice. He's a very feminine man. So he's either a very effeminate man, but I would be not surprised at all to learn that this guy is gay or potentially bisexual. So I'm not saying that he's not capable of sleeping with a woman, but I don't think he's totally straight. And, you know, you can see that she looks, you know, very oblivious to that, right? The other thing about this video series, and she made 21 videos just on this subject to the point that people became exhausted by this type of content. And it had this very staged kind of produced look, which is different from how she's always been known. She's likable previously because people consider her to be authentic and real. And now in this content, she appears to want to present it in a way that she's very much in control of. And people were rightly a bit mystified, and some of them a bit concerned that after spending years giving women advice to take their time getting to know somebody, to not get swept away, to not move too fast, she comes on here and basically says, I know I gave you all that advice, but this is different. My situation is different. Basically, she's saying what everybody says who is not adhering to their own advice. And so, you know, the result of this is that this, you know, the initial announcement was very popular, but as this has gone forward, you can see that the amount of interest in it declined significantly. People were kind of losing interest in this plot line. Now, I get it, you know, it's got to be hard to be a social media star whose content is based on the events of your own life, because that means you open yourself up to a lot of public scrutiny. And so, you know, I get it. And if this girl had primarily been known and liked for posting content about going on being single and fabulous and going on all these dates, and she decides to get a boyfriend, then she's going to need to post content about her and her boyfriend, or the page is going to lose, you know, all traction and momentum. As it stands, I mean, I think that the page has lost a lot of its momentum, or some of its momentum anyways, from her being in this relationship. And this is why I say it can be really a bit of a trap for these women that make dating content about their own dating life. Because number one, by putting all this out there on the internet, anybody that they would meet and potentially date is going to at some point learn that that they have stories about all of their prior dating history are essentially publicly known, and that information about her dating experience with him is also going to be published on the internet. And a lot of men don't like that and are not going to like that at all. So moving on, here she kind of,
In a long time. 3 months to be exact. And that's for a very specific reason. Basically, I shared my dating experiences as
this is where she's telling us that although her advice is that she's given all of her fans is still valid, her situation is different, which obviously seems very hypocritical to her fan base.
But this time it worked. I found the man I'm going to marry, and just like some people watching right now thinking I'm getting ahead of myself.
Why say that when you're this popular on the internet? Don't say this is the man that I'm going to marry, because if you're wrong about that, she's going to look real bad, okay? There's no reason that she needs to say that. She can say, you know, I'm really digging this guy. We're having a great time. I'm excited to see where it goes. And when they actually get married, she could say, hey, we did it. We got married. It's just a bad idea to put this out there on the internet. I can't believe that people do this. So fast forward to here. Where have I been? I think we covered that. Okay, here, the Valentine's Day gifting expression.
Heavy.
It's heavy.
Oh, honey. Okay. We did the same thing.
So they've been dating for a few months at this point, and he gives her this pretty large-looking scrapbook with photos of memories of their 3 months of dating or however long that they've been together. First of all, this has got to be annoying that in the moment that he wants to give her a gift for Valentine's Day, she's like, wait a second, hold on, I gotta film this because I need it for content. I mean, I would hate that if I was in a relationship with somebody and they needed to film everything we were doing for content. That also contributes to the feeling that a lot of people have that this looks kind of staged, because otherwise, you know, these moments wouldn't necessarily be captured. They have to be done in kind of an intentional way. The other thing that I'll say about this is giving your girlfriend a scrapbook of all of the memories that you have from your first 3 months of dating is a very effeminate gift. In fact, a lot of women would be very turned off by receiving this kind of gift this early in the relationship. Yes, if you've been with your wife for many years and you give her a scrapbook of all the memories that you have throughout the course of a relationship, she would find that to be very loving and endearing. But many women, most women I would say, if you gave them a scrapbook, this was risky, okay, would be risky if they had a real dynamic, which I'm not sure that they do, because a lot of women would be like, whoa, this is way too soon to be receiving this kind of gift. The other thing is that typically a man should not be the one to ask the woman for a relationship. It's the woman that should be asking the man for a relationship. That's a healthy dynamic between a man and a woman. So she also mentioned in that previous video that he asked her to be his girlfriend. So why could that be, okay? It appears like this guy is potentially love bombing her and that she's getting swept away because she's wanted a boyfriend for years and years and years. And probably a lot of guys that she have met have been, you know, turned off by the fact that she's a giant social media star, and that's probably created an issue, combined with the fact that she may also have some other traits that have made it hard for her to get or stay into relationships. And this guy comes along and he's just like Mr. Do Everything Right? He's Mr. Romantic. He's romantic in a feminine way, right? Giving her flowers on the very first date. Again, a lot of women would consider that to be over the top when they haven't actually met a guy yet. And or they would only appreciate it if they weren't really interested in the guy. I think she does really, you know, love him and is really hoping that this is going to work out. Personally, I don't think it is, because for the primary reason that I think that the guy is not completely straight. I also think that there's a significant chance that this guy is essentially kind of using her because of her giant platform. Apparently, he had been trying for some time to become a fitness influencer, and he currently has 34,000 followers on Instagram, which is kind of like medium sized. Given how large her platform is, most likely his platform was very small before he started dating her. And in fact, if we just went back, let's see. Yeah, he's turned off. Yeah, he turned off likes for these posts, but if we go back to before he was dating her, even these sort of like professional thirst trappy type photos have only like 100 likes on them, which is in line with a pretty small account. And then obviously since dating her, it has gone and grown dramatically. So it could be possible that he's using her for social media exposure to grow his account. And he's like, I can go along with this for some period of time to get what I want to get out of it. And if that's the case, she's going to look really silly for having basically broken all of her rules and put this out there in a way and said, this is my husband. Okay? Nobody should say that until it's like, don't count your chips while you're still at the table. Like, wait till it happens, especially if you have a platform like this. So anyway, you know, what's the point of this video? Well, I just wanted to point out the psychology. Again, as discussed in other videos, when a woman is really into you, she will go to great lengths to be with you. And in this case, like, this guy came along and he's doing a lot of things that are kind of effeminate and a little bit simpy, and she's like eating it up. And that could be because she had a lot of failed dating experiences prior to meeting him. If he is using her, I definitely do not condone that, and I wouldn't. I would look down upon anybody who is doing that. And I hope that that's not the case. I'm not saying that it definitely is. I'm just saying there are some signs that indicate that that could be the case, given what we know about his occupation and what he's trying to accomplish, his sort of effeminate energy in the way that he interacts with her. Now, from her standpoint, right, she should probably be a lot more careful about how she's describing this online, because she's putting herself at enormous risk. If this doesn't work out, she's really going to look bad. As it stands already, the fact that she's in this relationship is kind of decreasing the amount of attention that her account is getting. But what are you going to do? You gotta get, you know, I understand the situation that she's in. Other takeaways, right? Any woman that does social media professionally, specifically Instagram, and especially if the content is based on her own life, should be a huge red flag for you, because that means that you're going to involuntarily be included in this content. It means that you don't really have the ability to, you know, vet her privately and find out whether this is really going to work for you or not without it becoming public knowledge that you're dating her. And most men should not want to be in that situation, because it just presents a lot of risks without a lot of upsides. The other thing about it is that many of these women who do this, well, first of all, she needs to be filming things all the time. That's got to be super annoying, because it means she's not going to be very present whenever she's filming content, which is probably a lot because she makes posts like every day or two. And finally, you know, women who do social media based on their own life, they need a lot of attention and validation. And so that is, you as one man are never going to be able to compete with the amount of adoration that she receives from the masses on Instagram, if that's something that she's attached to. And most women who do this as a profession are very attached to that. And so that can make them very difficult to please. I have heard in some of her videos where she's speaking to him, she speaks in kind of a controlling way. I don't have it handy, but there's one in which they're talking about, you know, what are some things that needed to change as a result of being in a relationship, and she's kind of talking for him and saying, you know, like, honey, how you can't just go surfing whenever you feel like it anymore. Right? And you can see that she's trying to kind of control him, control the relationship in some ways. Anyways, guys, I hope that helped. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, take a look at either of these other two videos. If you want to stay in touch and learn more about my retreats and other things that I'm up to, you can join my email newsletter. There's a link to that in the description below. And if you'd like to set up a call to see if one-on-one coaching is right to help you get the most out of your dating life, go ahead and book that. There's a link to that in the description as well. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.